Please sit down. Taking a risk here, I'm trying technology. So, let's see if this works, and if so, what do you think of this?
This is for the lovers, this is for the friends, this is for the homeboys chilling in the ends. This is for the best time that you'll ever have. If you want the real thing, you gotta take a chance. It's maybe the right time, it's maybe the right time to love. I'm raised her son with the vision. This is my life, so I'm out here living. This ain't for the money, I do it for the change. I can see the sunshine breaking through the rain. It's maybe the right time, it's maybe the right time to love. We live to fight another day, but if we ain't got love, then we got nothing. Nothing. This may be the right time. This may be the right time to love. Say yes. Say yes.
At this point, you've got to imagine one arm up.
We're gonna need somebody to love. This ain't about a trophy, ain't about the game, ain't about the whole world knowing your name. It's about the moment when you're not afraid to be the only one who will go against the grain. It's maybe the right time. It's maybe
A group called 1224, is that the right way around? Not 2412, yes. Performing yesterday to, I'm out of breath. God. I only bounced up and down 4 times. I think I better go to the gym. For the big night out yesterday, a big Christian youth event for the youth of this area and beyond. Approximately 1,600 young people attended. They had the chance to use the rides at Lightwater Valley, both with the public and then after the public had been sent on their way. We had the park to ourselves for an hour or two after that, finishing with a Christian rock band performing and speaking to the crowd, speaking of their faith, speaking of their life, speaking of their journey with Christ and with their neighbours, their friends, the people they meet through their work. Maybe that's not to your taste. Maybe you prefer this.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see.
But that can be rewritten. It can sound like this.
Get enough to say, get enough to pray, and put it from my heart, give it away. I'm so grateful for grace and I'm thankfulness. It's good every moment you shall come to bless. I'm here to push to be changed, friends. It's action. You waited in love, but now I'm reacting. I'm blind, I'm face down, responding. He's moving, I'm jumping, but Jordan beat stomping.
Wait for this bit. Should have seen Bishop James's face when we had that at a confirmation. But maybe you prefer this. It takes all sorts, but it's the spirit in our heart that guides us. During yesterday's concert, 2 teenage girls came through the crowd, inviting everyone to just say, "Will you give me a high five?" I was somewhat stunned. I'm in my mid-40s. I have no idea about the whole high five thing. I'm not in the least bit cool, but nevertheless they invited me to take part, and I did. And they went on to someone else, and even the uber-cool youth workers were slightly taken off guard by somebody initiating it for them, rather than them being the one trying to motivate their young people and the crowd. Maybe they were doing it just for the joy of it. Maybe they were doing it as a bit of a challenge, to see how people responded, to see how many people they could get to respond. I don't know. But it broke us gently out of the little barriers that we build around ourselves. We all had our own camp with our bags and a mat to sit on of some sort. We all have our own personal space, which we pretend isn't there until somebody walks too close, and then we go, "Whew, steady, that's a bit much. You're within my 18 inches, I think you'll notice." It just brought us out of ourselves, and we smiled. You'll notice from the reading we had from the Acts of the Apostles this morning that we've moved from Peter being the spokesperson to Paul. Without being unkind, we've moved from the uncouth, uneducated fisherman, Peter, to the educated, knowledgeable scholar, Paul. They both speak in different ways, different styles to a different audience, but they have the same message. They respond to the people they're with from what is in their heart and mind. Peter referring to the poets and the scholars of that community amongst the Athenians to draw them out and say, yes, you've had all this from your past, but why not rethink what the future might be? Exactly what Peter did, and Philip to that matter, to the people that they met, using the references that they understood to speak to them, and more importantly, to speak from them. Not putting on airs and graces, nor dumbing down, whatever that expression these days may be, just being themselves. We are approaching Ascension, as we said at the start. Thursday, we celebrate the Ascension of Christ. We will have noticed through all these weeks of Easter, we have been being prepared literally to take on the mantle of faith that Christ has offered us. He didn't just come incarnate born. He came and was born and lived among us and taught. He didn't just come, was born among us and lived among us and taught. He died and rose from the dead. And he didn't just stop there. He then repeated in performances, presentations of himself after his resurrection. And then he says, I will never depart from you. I will always be there beside you. If you believe in me, if you love me, which is believing in me, you will perceive that I am right there beside you. In fact, I am within you, guiding your heart. So you will never be without me. It's our turn to take on that mantle of faith that he has exhibited and lived and shown and offered to us, and gently places upon our shoulders as the most beautiful robe of blessing, and which has been shown by the disciples who have gone before us in every generation. It's our turn. to take those on in whatever way we make that sing. On Tuesday, I had the pleasure to be at a meeting towards the end of the afternoon. It was not a meeting that I was leading, which was why it was a pleasure, because I knew it would go well. I was just sitting back, enjoying the gathering, and there were some visitors to the meeting there who had been welcomed and received. The lady in charge said, after all those welcomes, we normally begin with a prayer. And I was thinking, oh, that's nice. Matthew, would you lead us in prayer? She might have seen the slight moment of shock go across my face and apologised. But in truth, why should she have to apologise? What could be a greater privilege than to be invited to pray and to share the prayer of my heart with the people gathered with me? You don't need to be eloquent. You don't need to get all your words in the right order, as you'll have already noticed this morning from what I'm saying. You just need to take that moment to focus in love on God and his people and to pray. It's the same with Bible reading, and this happens embarrassingly often amongst clergy circles, as those in the room who have experience of that will know. You have a group of clergy, let's say, and the invitational request goes out, who would like to do the Bible reading? You've never seen so many people suddenly want to examine how clean their shoes are, rather than volunteer. But why? Maybe we're afraid there will be confusing words and names. Well, what does it matter? Give them the best shot. Chances are nobody else knows how to say them properly either. And if they do, they might just inform you afterwards, hopefully gently and wisely, in which case you've both gained. But what is there other than delight in reading the word that God has given among the people he has given for us to share it with? It's a pleasure. Never be afraid to proclaim the hope that is in you. We're encouraged. We're not told you have to always be ready to preach. I don't particularly like that word. I think it has the wrong connotations. We're not told you have to be ready to give a lecture or to persuade or cajole. Just to speak of the hope that is in you. That's all. The hope that you find and live upon. Thy kingdom come is the prayer that's so wrapped into our hearts as Christians and which we're invited to focus on from now until eternity. Pray with thanksgiving for the things that are so good in your life and the lives of others. Pray with a plea, an honest, open plea for those things where you seek comfort, you seek strength, you seek wisdom, whether for you or others. Pray with a yearning and a love for those whom you love and for whom you yearn great goodness, whether it's those beside you or those far away unknown but whose plight you're aware of. Pray for 5 people and realize the enormity of that. We don't do it in our own strength. Or do we not believe that the one who raised Christ from the dead has the strength to do it? We have good news. So what do we do with it? We share it in every way that we can. Not as somebody else can, but the way we can. If we all did it exactly the same, what a hopeless task we would have, as we would give out one thin line of message that would miss nearly everybody in the world. But look about you, at the people here, those in the other churches of this parish, of this town, of this county, of this nation, of this world. Each of us proclaiming and living the hope that is in us in the way that we can. Fist, bounce, or calm. Together we can appeal and connect with the world. So go out there and take that hope to the world. But more importantly, take it to Harrogate. Because the world can't see us, but Harrogate can. As we exit that door, as we walk round town, as we go to our clubs, our groups, our friends, our societies, our whatever, they see us. And if you don't believe that you shine with the light of Christ, then look at the people around you in here today and realize that they see in you what you see in them. A spark, a light, a flame of hope living in them, proclaimed to the world. Thank you all, and God bless. Amen.